The Idries Shah Foundation podcast. Practical Psychology for Today. Featuring the works of Idries Shah, voiced by David Ault. Welcome to the Idries Shah Foundation podcast. In this edition of the podcast, we will hear selections from the exploits of the Incomparable Mulla Nasrudin by Idries Shah. This audio has been made available by the Idries Shah Foundation. Mulla Nasrudin, chief of the dervishes and master of a hidden treasure, a perfected man. Many say, I wanted to learn, but here I have found only madness. Yet should they seek deep wisdom elsewhere, they may not find it. From Teachings of Nasrudin, Bokharan MS of 1617, by Ablahi Mutlaq, the utter idiot. The alternative. I am a hospitable man, said Nasrudin to a group of cronies at the tea-house.
Very well, then take us all home to supper, said the greediest.
Nasrudin collected the whole crowd and started towards his house with them. When he was almost there, he said, I'll go ahead and warn my wife. You just wait here. His wife cuffed him when he told her the news. There is no food in the house. Turn them away. Oh, I can't do that. My reputation for hospitality is at stake. Very well. You go upstairs and I'll tell them that you are out. After nearly an hour, the guests became restless and crowded round the door, shouting, Let us in, Nasrudin! The mullah's wife went out to them. Nasrudin is out.
But we saw him go into the house, and we have been watching the door all the time.
She was silent. The mullah, watching from an upstairs window, was unable to contain himself. Leaning out, he shouted, I could have gone out by the back door, couldn't I? Why we are here. Walking one evening along a deserted road, Mulla Nasrudin saw a troop of horsemen coming towards him. His imagination started to work. He saw himself captured and sold as a slave, or impressed into the army. Nasrudin bolted, climbed a wall into a graveyard, and lay down in an open tomb. Puzzled at his strange behaviour, the men, honest travellers, followed him. They found him stretched out, tense and quivering. What are you doing in that grave? We saw you run away. Can we help you? Just because you can ask a question does not mean that there is a straightforward answer to it, said the mullah, who now realized what had happened. It all depends on your viewpoint. If you must know, however, I am here because of you, and you are here because of me. Never know when it might come in useful. Nasrudin sometimes took people for trips in his boat. One day, a fussy pedagogue hired him to ferry across a very wide river. As soon as they were afloat, the scholar asked whether it was going to be rough. Don't ask me nothing about it, said Nasrudin.
Have you never studied grammar?
No, said the mullah.
In that case, half your life has been wasted.
The mullah said nothing. Soon a terrible storm blew up. The mullah's crazy cockleshell was filling with water. He leaned over towards his companion. Have you ever learned to swim?
No, said the pedant.
In that case, schoolmaster, all your life is lost, for we are sinking. See what I mean? Nasrudin was throwing handfuls of crumbs around his house. What are you doing? Someone asked him. Keeping the tigers away. But there are no tigers in these parts. That's right. Effective, isn't it? If a pot can multiply. One day Nasrudin lent his cooking pots to a neighbour who was giving a feast. The neighbour returned them, together with one extra one, a very tiny pot.
"What is this?"
asked Nasrudin. According to law, I have given you the offspring of your property which was born when the pots were in my care, said the joker. Shortly afterwards, Nasrudin borrowed his neighbour's pots, but did not return them. The man came round to get them back.
"Alas," said Nasrudin, "they are dead. We have established, have we not, that pots are mortal?"
The Smuggler. Time and again, Nasrudin passed from Persia to Greece on donkey-back. Each time he had 2 panniers of straw and trudged back without them. Every time the guards searched him for contraband. They never found any.
"What are you carrying, Nasrudin?"
"Oh, I am a smuggler."
Years later, more and more prosperous in appearance, Nasrudin moved to Egypt. One of the customs men met him there.
"Tell me, Mullah, now that you are out of the jurisdiction of Greece and Persia, living here in such luxury, what was it that you were smuggling when we could never catch you?"
"Donkeys."
How Nasrudin created truth.
"Laws as such do not make people better," said Nasrudin to the king. "They must practice certain things in order to become attuned to inner truth. This form of truth resembles apparent truth only slightly."
The king decided that he could, and would, make people observe the truth. He could make them practice truthfulness. His city was entered by a bridge. On this he built a gallows. The following day, when the gates were opened at dawn, the captain of the guard was stationed with a squad of troops to examine all who entered. An announcement was made. Everyone will be questioned. If he tells the truth, he will be allowed to enter. If he lies, he will be hanged. Nasrudin stepped forward.
"Where are you going?"
"I am on my way," said Nasrudin slowly, "to be hanged."
"We don't believe you."
"Very well. If I've told a lie, hang me."
"But if we hang you for lying, we will have made what you said come true."
"That's right. Now you know what truth is. Your truth."
The Cat and the Meat. Nasrudin gave his wife some meat to cook for guests. When the meal arrived, there was no meat. She had eaten it.
"Oh, the cat ate it, all 3 pounds of it," she said.
Nasrudin put the cat on the scales. It weighed 3 pounds.
"If this is the cat," said Nasrudin, "where is the meat? If, on the other hand, this is the meat, where is the cat?"
There is more light here. Someone saw Nasrudin searching for something on the ground. "What have you lost, Mullah?" he asked.
"My key," said the mullah.
So they both went down on their knees and looked for it. After a time, the other man asked, "Where exactly did you drop it?"
"Oh, in my own house."
"Then why are you looking here?"
"Oh, there is more light here than inside my own house."
The Fool. A philosopher, having made an appointment to dispute with Nasrudin, called and found him away from home. Infuriated, he picked up a piece of chalk and wrote "Stupid Oaf" on Nasrudin's gate. As soon as he got home and saw this, the mullah rushed to the philosopher's house.
"I had forgotten," he said, "that you were to call, and I apologize for not having been at home. Of course, I remembered the appointment as soon as I saw that you had left your name on my door.
Cooking by candle. Nasrudin made a wager that he could spend a night on a nearby mountain and survive, in spite of ice and snow. Several wags in the tea-house agreed to adjudicate. Nasrudin took a book and a candle and sat through the coldest night he had ever known. In the morning, half dead, he claimed his money. "Did you have nothing at all to keep you warm?" asked the villagers.
Nothing.
Not even a candle?
Yes, I had a candle.
Oh, then the bet is off. Nasrudin did not argue. Some months later, he invited the same people to a feast at his house. They sat down in his reception room, waiting for the food. Hours passed. They started to mutter about food.
"Let's go and see how it is getting on," said Nasrudin.
Everyone trooped into the kitchen. They found an enormous pot of water, under which a candle was burning. The water was not even tepid.
"It is not ready yet," said the mullah. "I don't know why. It has been there since yesterday."
Danger has no favourites. A lady brought her small son to the mullah's school. "He is very badly behaved," she explained, "and I want you to frighten him." The mullah assumed a threatening posture, eyes flaming and face working. He jumped up and down and suddenly ran out of the building. The woman fainted. When she had come to, she waited for the mullah, who returned slowly and gravely. "I asked you to frighten the boy, not me."
"Dear madam," said the mullah, "did you not see how afraid I was of myself as well? When danger threatens, it threatens all alike."
Salt is not wool. One day, the mullah was taking a donkey load of salt to the market and drove the ass through a stream. The salt was dissolved. The mullah was angry at the loss of his load. The ass was frisky with relief. Next time he passed that way, he had a load of wool. After the animal had passed through the stream, the wool was thoroughly soaked and very heavy. The donkey staggered under the soggy load.
"Ha!" shouted the mullah. "You thought you would get off lightly every time you went through water, didn't you?"
Can good turns be accidental? Nasrudin's donkey ran towards a pool to drink. The sides were very steep, and it was just about to overbalance and fall in when frogs began to croak loudly from the water. This so frightened the ass that it reared up, and by this means was able to save itself. Nasrudin threw a handful of money into the water, crying,
"Frogs, you did me a good turn. Here is something for you to celebrate with."
This podcast is copyright 2016, the Idries Shah Foundation.